Alright, I'm going to continue the history of marijuana with the third installment now. Alright, why weed is illegal? Weed is illegal because of mainly racism. Alright, in the 1920s, they're putting bills in to make certain drugs illegal. The Narcotics Act, the Something Narcotics Act is what it's called. And they were deciding what drugs to classify as narcotics. Cocaine is one that I think is kind of funny, but it's racist. It's not funny, but I mean, it's just funny the way people used to think. They Cocaine's illegal because they said that black men were doing cocaine and raping and killing people in the South, raping the women and killing families in the South. And the North, when they heard that, they were like, "Oh my God, like, we need to make that drug illegal." But like they really thought that was happening, and I mean, it was just the Southern racism and the North like not having much experience, and but that's cocaine. But marijuana is illegal because it was giving Mexicans money, first off, because it was coming up from Mexico, some of it was, and even though there was a lot here, stuff was coming from Mexico, and it was making Mexicans money, and that just inflates the U.S. dollar, because once it spreads to other countries, we have to print more money, and it makes it worth less money, so everybody freaks out. So they started calling, it used to be called cannabis, and you used to be able to buy it at the drugstore, like Walgreens, but there wasn't Walgreens back then, and there was other drugstores though. You could buy it. It was called cannabis or hemp. Like you would just buy it as that, and it was actually the snake oils that people say the doctors used to sell, and it didn't work. Like it was actually weed. Like it was cannabis products, and they would say like it'll cure you this, it'll cure you this, it'll cure you this, and then like they give it to you, and you feel high, and you feel great, and you think you're cured of everything, and then like you're not really cured. So you get mad at the snake oil salesman, but I mean. They used to say it cured everything. It doesn't cure everything, but it does help with a lot of things because it does make you feel good about no matter what's going on. And that's all medicine's supposed to do nowadays. It's just supposed to cover up the symptoms. That's Western medicine. But, alright, also, another reason it's illegal. It used to be called cannabis, and then we started calling it marijuana, and that scared everyone because it's a Mexican word, and they're like, "Ooh, that's scary," and it's Mexican, it's not American, and we're losing money, and everybody like that helped make it illegal, and then also paper, tobacco, and alcohol. All of them are competitors of hemp. Hemp is something that knocks all of those out of the water, like alcohol. Like you can't operate any machinery or anything like on alcohol. But if you smoke weed all the time and you hit a joint, like you're gonna be fine driving a car or whatever. Not that you should, but I mean, you're not like automatically gonna get a wreck just because you smoke 3 joints. But I mean, not 3 beers, but I mean like you drink enough, and I mean you're guaranteed almost to get in a wreck. And but I mean weed, there's like no guaranteed point. And tobacco, like the obvious reasons, like it's just the main competitor, and then paper. We used to make everything out of hemp, not just paper, rope, sails, everything. Like we wouldn't have made it to America without rope and sails made out of hemp to use on our boats, and like clothing used to be made out of hemp, everything. So paper like pays a lot of money to help keep weed illegal. Like they lobby against it and fund things like Above the Influence. Those commercials and stuff are funded by alcohol and tobacco and paper. Like they just want you to buy legal. And alright, lastly, when it was made illegal, it wasn't easy to do things with hemp. Slavery had just been made outlawed, and that was the main way to make hemp products back then. Like have slaves pounded into pulp, and then use that pulp to make paper or whatever you need to do whatever, and make shirts. You know what I mean, fibers and everything. But they once slavery was done, they didn't have an easy way to do that, and paper took over because there was machines for that. And then they made the decorticator, which it would have made hemp completely useful. And then that was like in the 1910s or 1920s, and then they had it in a scientific journal. Some famous scientific magazine was talking about hemp, the new $1 million product or $1 billion product. It was about to change everything back to the way it used to be, where everything's made out of hemp. Even the first car ran on hemp oil. They're like alcohol made from hemp. You can look it up. But they it was about to happen, and they they weren't they didn't want it to happen though. So the guy that owned a bunch of paper mills, he went and I forget his name exactly, but he went and he printed a bunch of stuff saying people are smoking marijuana, they're getting high, crazy stuff's happening. So people read the newspaper, they got scared, and they voted to make marijuana illegal. And they didn't realize that they were making cannabis illegal and hemp illegal. They didn't know that that's what it was. Like they didn't realize that the difference, like, or not that there wasn't a difference. And all of a sudden the decorticator was useless because it could only be used with an illegal product. And hemp just completely fell out of the race in America. And, I mean, it was a part of America for a long time. It was mandatory to grow weed in 1605 in Jamestown. It was something that helped build this country. But yeah, it's illegal because of racism. That's basically it.